Hi everybody, and thank you for visiting my website. It's great to see you all here. I haven't done a video autobiography for quite some time, so I decided that now is the time. And so a little bit about myself. I grew up in Fernie, BC, actually about 6 miles east of Fernie in a small, very, very small community called Hosmer. But I went to school in Fernie, and that's where my upbringing took place. So Fernie is southeastern British Columbia. It's almost on the Alberta border. We call Fernie, Sparwood, Alford, and the South Country is basically the East Kootenay. So a few communities, little towns together, and that's where I grew up. I'm quite proud of that. I've always said the water is clean, the air is clean. We have 4 great seasons. It is like such a great place to live. I'm very thankful that I live here. And a little bit about my family. So my grandfather had the drive-in theater in Hosmer, and then my mom and dad took that over when I was very little. So my upbringing was at an actual drive-in theater. So if anybody can remember the Elk Drive-In Theater, which was very cool. So business families, my family, my grandfather and grandma had the White Spot in Fernie many, many years ago. Upstairs was an ice cream parlor, and down below was the Twilight Zone. And at that time, liquor was not legal in BC, believe it or not. And my grandpa Lynch, actually was the first person to attain a BC liquor license, if you can imagine that. So it's pretty cool stories that everybody shares. I'm quite proud of where I come from, and that's on the Lynch side. On the Rambold side, my grandma and grandpa Rambold, they lived up where the new subdivision is, just up Coal Creek there. My grandma had, I didn't know my grandpa because he passed when I was very tiny toddler. But I do remember going to my grandma's house quite often up, I can't even remember the name of the creek up there, but it was up Coal Creek towards the power line where all the new subdivision is. So been everywhere in this town, great people. I love little towns, and I love Fernie. So that's a little bit about my upbringing. My mom and dad, they're amazing people. My dad passed in 2015. It was quite devastating to us all because we're such a close family. But being born and raised within a business and learning business your whole life is something that I see even my siblings now. So there's 5 girls and 1 boy. I'm the second youngest, and everybody's married and has kids, or married and divorced and has kids, or whatever. And anyways, we're quite a strong family. We've had quite a bit of trauma, and what I've learned through that is that you learn to survive. You learn to, lots of people have never experienced even a close death in their family, and with our family, our entire, my mom and dad and my siblings were in a car accident. I was 8 years old, and it left my mom a paraplegic. So we learned very quickly how to take care of each other. And my dad was amazing because he would drive 6 kids. Could you imagine driving 6 kids to the foothills in Calgary every weekend? It was insane, but he did it. And it was such a great learning experience growing up in a world of faith. They always made sure we went to church every Sunday. And that's where I learned to sing and play the guitar. So started off there in church, and I was just amazed as a young, very, very young, watching my older sisters play guitar and sing, and I wanted to do that too. And then they started a band, and I was like, yep, definitely want to do that. But I couldn't play the guitar very good, and I definitely couldn't sing very good. My brother will definitely tell you about that, because everybody had to listen to me practice day after day, night after night. And then, you just get better. And then the songwriting, I think in grade 5, I had a music teacher, Mrs. Hughes, so thank you for that. She taught us all about where songs come from, and she actually had the lyrics, and I clearly remember that, my upbringing. And I think it wasn't long after that that I was like, this is really cool. And having such tragedy in your life, you know, it was very difficult. But we made the best of it all the time with my mom, and she is such an amazing woman. And so, but when hard times come, I've learned to put that into a song. When good times come, I've learned to put it into a song. And when I was a teenager, I used to think that I was a little crazy because I could hear the song in my head. I could just hear the pieces of it, and I could hear lyrics. And at that time, there wasn't computers, so I would be writing, and it would be like somebody else took the pen out of my hand and started writing the songs. And it wasn't until I heard Alan Jackson on a radio interview speaking of this very similar thing, and I was like, oh, thank God. I'm a little bit normal. I mean, most people know that I'm crazy, but that part of me is normal. That's the main question I get asked. How do you write a song? I can't tell you that, because it might come to me at 3 in the morning. I might be driving down the road. People know that if you hang around me, things you say end up in songs, or our life experience, whatever we've experienced together will end up in a song. And then you play it on the guitar, or I've written on piano. I don't read music. Everything I do is by ear. It's such an amazing gift, and I've learned to just accept it and not ignore it, because it's definitely a God-given gift. And so when I play, I can hear more than what I'm playing, if you will. And sometimes I can play those notes and sometimes I can't. So when I get to the studio, I'm explaining these things, and at least I know how I can really describe, that's the big dreamer in me. I can really describe what a song sounds like in my head. And the most amazing thing that I can tell you is that when you get the right people behind what you have written on acoustic or guitar or piano or whatever, and have that person capture everything that you're thinking, is the most amazing thing. So that's a little bit about songwriting and where I come from. And I think, you know, I just kept it up over the years. Sang in churches, sang in bars, for weddings and dances. There used to be stomps out here in the South Country, and just anywhere that I could sing. And then I decided that I better get a little bit of this, try the recording. I believe Sadie was only 2 years old when I did my first album, Walk Through Life. And that was quite an experience for me, because it's totally different recording than actually singing live, or it's a different experience. So I gave that a go and just tried it out, and I had some really good response with the Walk Through Life song, and that encouraged me to carry on more. Sang at the Calgary Stampede, Edmonton at Klondike Days. That was so amazing. And then I got involved with the associations, Nashville Songwriters Association and the CCMA and the BCCMA, and that's when I discovered that, wow, this is more about business than it is about singing, and your singing has to be top notch. So over the years, I've learned, just jumping in that frying pan, so to speak, and just learning how do other people do it, watch how successful people do it. And from there it went, I got married and I had another child, and it just took away from the music a little bit if you don't have the right support around you, because you're chasing a dream. And to make money in this business is very difficult. You have to really get out there, and when you have children, that can make it difficult as well. So I still went forward and did recorded the Dream Big album, which got me into Music Row, and I'm so thankful for that. That was pretty cool with the Plowin and Cryin and You Can't Look Back and the Dream Big songs that I'd written, and that was another quite awesome experience. But once again, for myself, I didn't believe in me. I didn't, I did believe that it was out there because you're actually seeing it on the charts, but you have to really have that inner belief that you're ready. So when my dad passed in 2015, it was devastating to me, and he was all of our rock. but he was mostly my rock in a way that he was my biggest fan. When I would finish a song at the studio, I would take it over. First thing I did, ran over to my mom and dad's, let them listen. And of course, they're always going to say that you're good. But I hung up my guitar. I don't know, I had either writer's block or just gave up, I guess. And it doesn't matter what I do, which direction I go, I'm always pulled back into music one way or another. And it's what I love. It's who I am, and I've just learned that I really just gonna give it everything I got this time around. So I think it was 2019, I was opening for Kenny Hess, and I asked Travis Pickering to come play guitar for me, because I ran into him a little bit earlier in that year, was helping him get some contacts and for his own career, and I needed a guitar player because I hadn't entertained for a long time, and I was like, do I really want to do this on my own? 5 acoustic songs and last minute, and I got to do it next week, and it was kind of a last minute thing. And anyways, while we were jamming, we started really practicing together, and that's where the Dreams and Gasoline song came out. I told Travis that I was gonna actually record some songs in Nashville, and he said, you need to get your butt in gear. And it sounded like my dad, actually. Kick you in the butt and get you going, and don't ever lose that hope. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you've been or what you've done. So with the Dreams and Gasoline, another dreaming song, it was Travis and I sitting down, and I can clearly remember it. I haven't co-written lyrics with anybody because it's your heart and soul. It's very hard to do, to co-write when you are taking that pureness out of your soul, because some people don't understand how intimate you are with your songs, and the best ones are usually the most intimate. And anyways, I wanted to write a song about my divorce and make it positive, and just encourage people to say, hey, like, you only have one life, just get out there and get doing it, right? And so when the Dreams and Gasoline, when those words came out, Travis and I were both like, wow. Never forget that. And that was actually in this room. And then I took the song and brought it to Nashville, and Dean Miller produced it. And I got to be there on Zoom because of COVID. And I should say the good things about COVID. Here's the good because I pull the good out of anything. And the good is that when it all started, it made me realize that how short life it could be. I mean, everybody has their opinions, and whatever, it doesn't really matter. Musicians should stay the hell out of that. But what it did for me is it was like, okay, you need to do this, because if you do die and you get to heaven, what are you going to say? That you haven't given this gift, this full opportunity. And by April, it was like, okay, Dean, let's do this. So it was a pretty amazing experience being able to Zoom into Nashville and seeing the players in their little boxes or whatever. It's different. You just have to get creative, right? We need to figure out how to do things differently if that need be. And that was a great experience for me. And then the Make It to Memphis and the rest of the album, Purpose in Life, I redone, wrote a song for my dearest nephew who took his life in 2019. And capturing all that and putting it on this album was so much fun. This is only a 4-song LP. I have lots more in this crazy head coming out. I can't tell you about that though, it'll be a surprise. So this is only a 4-song LP, but what I did with it is, I don't normally follow the rules, if you know me. It's supposed to be only 4 songs, but what I did is I did 4 songs of full production, and then 4 songs acoustic, and then a bonus track, which was Carter's song. So, full album, is it on the way? Yeah, you can bet it is. And just promoting these singles, so Dreams and Gasoline, 66 by March 28th. That's pretty cool on Music Row. and made it to #2 on Canadian independent charts. Make It to Memphis is just about ready to come out, and I'm so excited, and I'm ready to go on the road. So one of the reasons why I did this, so that I could have my electronic press kit on my website and just tell you who I am and what I've done and where I've gone and where I'm ready to go. So I hope that when I'm out there touring with people that we can get some fan photos and we can start populating them on the bottom. If you look down the bottom of this video, you'll be able to see your photo there, and I look forward to seeing everybody. So enjoy the music, and thank you for visiting my website.
Like a perfect storm on an open sea, rolling wild and running free. Yeah, like throwing a match on gasoline. Like a perfect storm on an open sea, rolling wild and running free. On dreams, on dreams, on dreams and gasoline.